Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody Bills. Today is February 2nd here. It's a Monday, and we had an interesting day in the market here with corn trading on the both side of negative and positive on the day, finishing off unchanged. Before we get into that and kind of break down today's trade action, let's see where we closed off the day. Take a look here at the grain hedge trading platform. You'll notice corn unchanged, soybeans down 1 1/4, and wheat in Chicago shedding 9.5 cents here on the day. Certainly a disappointing performance here for wheat, which has just been beat down here for the last month. Let's turn over to the export inspections here. As you can see, export inspections came out this morning. It was disappointing for corn, soybeans, and wheat. It was more positive for corn here, coming in with 661,000 metric tons inspected for export. That was below the analyst expectations, which range between 750 and 900,000 metric tons. Soybeans came out, it beat analyst expectations. That's very positive to see here, coming in with 1.69 million metric tons inspected for export. Analysts range between 1.1 and 1.3 metric tons in their expectations. So soybeans very positive there, and wheat finally coming in on the high side of analysts' expectations, 394,000 metric tons. It's certainly not a huge positive vote of confidence here for wheat, but it is good to be on the higher side of what the expectations are. We'd really like to see that number pick up a little bit more if we're going to get any sort of a bid under wheat here to really stop the bleeding. Now this morning we did have a nice little reportable sale here of 132,000 metric tons of corn to Mexico. Most of that was in the old crop, so that certainly helped the price action for corn early off in the day. But really, I think part of it, when we had disappointing export inspections, I think the other thing is once we got up to that 178, 378, 379 area, we touched on some resistance, which was previously support. It had kind of a role reversal. We went back up there, touched on it, was resistance, and then traded back down to unchanged here. It looks as though really we're in this kind of downtrend, and we bumped on that resistance level that just moments ago, really last week, was acting as support. Another thing that came out here in today's trade, I think that we're going to talk about, is Brazil. Brazil's northern part has been very dry here. Take a look at the precipitation. It looks as though in the coming 10 days we're going to get more precipitation in that northern Brazil region. That's going to be very positive here. As you can see on the chart on the right, you can see that precipitation, which is the black line, that's actual precipitation observed in the northern part of Brazil. You can see here that really it started to flatline. It really started to flatline in January, and but it looks as though in the coming 10 days we're going to get a little bit more precipitation, and that's going to be positive for production down in Brazil and probably weigh on prices here in the U.S. Let's talk a little bit about corn here, because we talked about this just a little bit ago. You'll notice that we came off of, I think a lot of what we saw here today was technical. Let's just break it down here. First of all, this is a daily corn chart. This is something I got it off of the grain hedge trading platform here. You can easily build your own charts. You can have a bar chart, you can have a candlestick chart, whatever you'd like. But here I have a bar chart, and you can see that yesterday, or on Friday and on Thursday, we both had days where it traded lower. It was kind of beaten down in the earlier part of the session, but was able to rally back to the higher side of that day's trading range. We had it on Thursday, we had it again on Friday, and this morning we traded down a little bit in the earlier part of the morning, but turned around. And I think part of that was a nice reportable export sale here this morning. That helped to increase buying pressure, and it just kind of snapped back. But you'll notice we only snapped back as high as that previous support level, and once we got up there, we hit some resistance, ended up trading back down, had some disappointing export inspections. I think that's probably why we ended up finishing off the day down around these levels. I would be cautious here tomorrow. If we do get a bit of a negative day, we very easily could have a continuation of the selling pressure that we saw last week. Let's talk a little bit about soybeans here, because we also traded on the lower side, or closed out the day on the lower side of the range. Just be cautious here. The weather outlook there for Brazil looks to be a little bit negative here. seems as though there's going to be more precipitation in the coming days. That's going to help some of the crop development. Of course, a lot of the damage is done. January was very, very dry in that region, and that has already hurt production. But of course, any additional moisture, that can help things out. So we'll just have to see. Of course, wheat, wheat has just been trading very sharply lower, unable to gain any sort of traction on the global market. It's really been, it seems to be overpriced. We haven't been able to get any sort of noticeable export sales. The dollar has been rallying. These are all working in the face of the wheat market, and it looks as though we're getting down to that low that we printed back there in September. So when we get down around those levels, there's very easily we could find some support. So that very easily could provide a little bit of a bounce and a sharp short covering rally off of those lows. So be cautious if you are trying to price wheat down around these levels. We could get a little bit of a bounce. Other than that, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, give us a call. Number's 877-472-4607. Tomorrow we're going to have the Informa crop reports. They'll be issued on Tuesday. Keep in mind EIA numbers will be out on Wednesday, export sales on Thursday, and of course we'll have Friday for the weekly wrap-up on Friday, where we talk about the cash market changes for the wheat. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here tomorrow.